hood, falling out the hood, falling getting money like a real one should. I'ma take a sip, get a little lit back in a bit, meditate, I think I should. No, we ain't friends, got me on 10.
Well, that's a wrap, folks. Game 82 out of 82 for the Jets 2022-2023 season. Welcome back to Recap Reactions, the final one for the regular season. Wow, it's a weird feeling right now. Weird feeling. When I look back a year ago to where we were in Game 82 at the end of last season, it sucked because we basically knew where we were going for 6 weeks. We knew that the playoffs were not happening. We knew the inevitable. We knew that it was just not going to end up being, a very happy end of the season, and we missed the playoffs. And then right after this game, Game 82, the exit interviews, it was not a good time to be a Jets fan. It looked like the team could potentially be blowing up. It looked like we might not be able to see this core ever again. It looked like things were really, going to be in full swing and change in motion in Winnipeg. But that wasn't the case. The Jets stood pat. They kept everything basically the same except the Rick Bonus hiring. And we rolled into the 2022-2023 season, unexpected of, what to come. And here we are. We're going to the playoffs as the 8th seed. And it has been an up and down year with a lot of highs, a lot of lows. And it just to reflect like this going into the playoffs, it's nice because this game literally meant nothing. Like, we don't even have to talk about this game. This is more of a recap of the whole season because this game didn't matter. It was mostly full of guys that have been scratched all year long. You saw Dominic Toninato finally get a call up from the Moose. Kyle Capobianco, Logan Stanley drawing back in. Like, it's been all the guys that we've seen at the early parts of this year when we had injuries and the guys that got kicked out because they didn't have a place in this roster. And we lost the game. It doesn't matter. Here we are, going into the playoffs. Let's talk about that, because that's more exciting. And let's talk about how the journey getting to this point. Because, like I said, this game meant nothing. Like, watching this game, I couldn't just help but feel just excited, because it's not the end right now. Last year, this game always sucks when you're not going to the playoffs. If you've been watching hockey for more than a couple years, you know this feeling, especially if your team's been bad for long periods of time. Just knowing that this inevitable 82 out of 82, and that's it. The season was for nothing. You're not going any further. You guys were mediocre, bad, whatever. Let's hope for the offseason and see what happens. We have something to look forward to. Whiteout Street Party's returning for the first time in a very long time. I'm going to my first ever playoff NHL game. Like, regardless of the Jets, I've never been to an NHL arena inside for a playoff game. I'm beyond excited. Like, it is going to be a great time just because they're in the playoffs. I would rather the Jets right now, for my entertainment value, be in the playoffs than not be in the playoffs. And the way the season went, it always felt like the playoffs, were this big question. They were this big, basically, it was a horizon we were just chasing. Because you didn't know what it was going to be. At one point, we thought the Jets were going to be Stanley Cup contenders, legit Stanley Cup contenders. Top 5, top 6 team in the league, potentially. First in the West at one point. Can't forget that. To now being the 8th seed going into what is basically 99% sure matchup that you're playing the Vegas Golden Knights, the team that beat you on the Cinderella run to the Western Conference Final a few years, can't even say a couple, a long time ago now. The Jets, this core, most of this core was there for that run. The core guys of this team are still here from that. I don't know, there's just something, I'm kind of excited to play Vegas. I don't know why. I just feel like if there was ever a chance for this core to finally prove that they have something left in the tank, getting over that hump. I know Vegas is not that team. It's a completely different situation. But again, like, there's still guys in this team, a couple of them that beat you. This is still a team that's been, fighting and clawing against you and had tough battles every year since they've come into the league. Like, this is a good rivalry you have, I would say, with Vegas after that. It's always a tough matchup when we play Vegas. It's always a good time to beat Vegas. And I feel like this is just a good matchup for the Jets right now going into it. Regardless of what happens, this is going to really, I think, set a mentality going forward with the younger guys, and aspiring for the future. We've been talking a lot about the future this year, too, because we didn't know if we were making the playoffs. And when you don't know if you're making the playoffs, the future is all you got to look forward to, like I already said. So this entire year has just been this up and down roller coaster of emotions with the Jets and looking at things of the future and the present, the playoffs and the draft and everything. And every game you go into it, and for the longest time there, I'm not going to lie, it felt like we were just coasting. You would watch a Jets game and you wouldn't be nervous about it. It would just be like, yeah, hockey time. You're watching a sport you like. It wasn't like it was a dire situation. You weren't battling every night for a wild card spot. The Jets were dominant for a long time. If you go back and watch probably more than half of my recaps this year. I would say probably at least 60%. I would be talking about chasing top 3 in the Central Division and being right there 3-2-1 at all for like more than half the year, it felt like. So to be at the 8th seed now, it's definitely, you know, a wake up. And we've already known that, though. This isn't like an immediate, like, oh, you know, let's realize where we are. We know what this Jets team is capable of. We've seen the highs and we've seen the lows. And I think that right now, when you look at when this team was healthy, you look at them going down the stretch, getting the points that mattered. And I know there were some ugly games in there. Like I trust me, I know. The loss to Calgary was an ugly game, and it looked like we were going to miss the playoffs at that point. That was a horrible game to lose, and at that moment, it really felt like things were going to be out for the Jets, you know? It's been really rough when you look at things, man. The loss to the loss to the Flames, the loss to the Kings, you know, losing to the Sharks 3-0. That one. Just looking back at these losses just as of late, it hasn't been an easy road. We knew that things were going to be tough, and we're here now. We made it, and I can't help but be excited. Every year going into the playoffs, a team that I've rooted for has been in the playoffs. When it starts, game 1, it is a new season. All the players' stats go to 0. It is brand new opportunity. It is a new season, a new style of hockey. Playoff hockey is just a different animal. And the Jets have depth this year. We've seen it when they've had injuries. Actually, when they've had injuries and had to use the depth, they played their best hockey, so can't be, you know, discouraged at that. I think that this team I think this team will excite in the playoffs. I'm not going to say they're going to go far, but I don't think they're going to get swept. I think they're going to put some heart into this game, and I think they're going to put up one of the better first-round matchups in the West. I really think so. I think that this could be, you know, a little bit of an opportunity for the Jets to prove to themselves. This whole year has just been adversity and challenge and inconsistency. Again, inconsistency has plagued this team for years. 4 years. For like 5 years. 6 years, it feels like, honestly, sometimes even. Like 5 years, this team has been plagued by inconsistency. And this year was no different. You know, yeah, they were better and had longer stretches of consistent, better hockey where they won games, but no one would go out there and say that this team was consistent all year long. You're crazy. So, again, this team is just such a mess at times, a roller coaster of emotions. It's really hard to kind of encapsulate the entire 2022-2023 season. It really is, because it's so many highs and lows. Like, early on, the Jets are good. They're fighting, like I said, almost all year long. They're in the top 3 in the Central, fighting good teams, and, you know, second place for a long time there, battling, but with injuries, almost in first place there. Now, I know that, you know, everything changes, but again, this is just a team that has shown their strengths at times, shown their weaknesses, and I think that this is a better Jets team from where we've been in a couple of years. I do think that. I think when you look back at last year's team, this team way better. I would say that this team is better than the team that swept Edmonton. I think so. I think that this is a better team assembled right now than that team. But again, do they win? I don't know. Like, do you see the leadership of Josh Morrissey in the playoffs? You hope so, right? Like, there's just so many elements of this year that I think we can't ignore going into the playoffs. And this, like I said, this whole year the Jets have put me through the ringer. I put a lot of us through the ringer. I feel like I can't just, you know, say that about myself, but when you get to a point like this, when you're going into the playoffs, like I said, everything, it's a blank sheet of paper. Everything is, you know, it's completely new opportunity. So the Jets need to, you know, just grab this opportunity and just show the fan base there's some life left in this franchise, because I think there's going to be some big moves made this offseason regardless. I don't think this core comes back similar next year. I think they're just going to have to be some moves. I don't know if Blake Wheeler, with the situation going on there, with one more year left, I don't know if the Jets look to trade him. I don't know what the situation is there. I really don't think they're going to trade him, but I don't know. You know, like, the Jets are going to be an interesting team next year and going into the offseason. It's going to be an interesting offseason, regardless of the playoffs. And the playoffs are what's here, and we made it. This season, really, at the end of the day, all the roller coasters we went through, all the worries that we've talked about, the inconsistencies, the scoring problems, you know, the leadership potential leadership problems, just lack of, you know, caring, it felt like at times, all of those issues are probably still with this team. We're not going to write that off because we made the playoffs. But at this point in time, I think that they're finally starting to get past that stuff, and they're making the right decisions. We saw that down the stretch when it mattered, because, let's be real, if they didn't make the right decisions when it really, really counted, when it came down to it, they wouldn't have made the playoffs. They got some luck in there as well from some really bad teams in Calgary, losing, and Nashville as well, having some losing games in there as well. But, you know, let's be real. They didn't just, play them really great and get in. They snuck in a little bit. They had to battle, and they had some luck at times. But that doesn't take away from the season. You have to look at everything going into the playoffs. And you have to look at everything when it comes into a game 82 out of 82. Because even though this Jets team tonight wasn't a perfect encapsulation of what they were all season long because of the roster guys getting moved in and the depth call-ups and whatnot, but I still think that this stretch with the game like this, the effort you saw tonight, I thought the mentality of the guys was pretty damn good. I thought that the coaching staff, again, ran these guys pretty well and had their plays set up pretty well, playing a Colorado team that, wasn't bad. Like, the Jets had control of this game, I would say, at times. Like, they weren't some team that was out there, playing terrible hockey. It was 3-2, it was 2-2 for a while. Like, they played hard and battled back. Like, Kevin Stenlund gets a goal. Axel Johnson-Vanjelby gets his 6th this season. Like, you had good goals in this game. You had good play from the Jets. I thought David Riddick tonight was pretty weak. Thank God we're not going to be seeing him in the playoffs, knock on wood, because if we do, then we're going to have absolutely no success, because, he looked out of his element tonight. Like, he just looked like a guy that hadn't seen a lot of NHL time as of late, because it's true, and, I think, again, a reason why we lost was on David Riddick. I don't think that this game doesn't matter. I'm not saying, oh, fuck David Riddick, but it's just, again, I wouldn't say this game was terrible even though we lost. So, I think that there's still some hope in this Jets land, in Winnipeg. I think that the playoffs are going to be entertaining. I think we're going to really be able to see what this team is made of game 1. I really think so, and I'm excited as all hell. And I know that everyone in the city is too, and I cannot wait to see you guys at the Whiteout. I know you're going to be there, so if any of you see me at the Whiteout, I'm going to be with tons of people. Do not be afraid to come up and say hi. Go Jets, go. It's going to be great. I'm hoping to fit if you're a crazy Jets fan, I'm going to put the call out right now. If you are a crazy Jets fan like me, and you've got some crazy Jets merch, you're going to be, if that Darth Vader helmet guy watches my channel, and you're there, please take a photo with me so I can put it in the thumbnail, because my God, I want to see all that stuff. I can't wait to experience that live for the first time. It's going to be amazing. Can't wait to see you all down there. I'm going to announce it right now. I am going to a playoff game. Game 3 in Winnipeg. I will be there way at the back, but I will be there. So if you see me there, I might get kicked out because I'll probably be too loud, especially if we're losing. But I'm gonna be having a great time, and I know you guys are too. So enjoy the playoffs. Whiteout time is here. They've battled hard, and we're gonna be able to enjoy some playoff opportunities, some playoff atmosphere. It's gonna be wonderful. So go Jets, go! Peace, love, and positivity as always. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey of recapping and reacting to not all 82 games this season, but damn, a lot of them, if I can't say so myself. So thank you guys for all the support this year. I hope you enjoyed the show, the series, and I can't wait to bring season, for season 3 of this, of me doing this now, covering these games. It was a really good time. Really, really good time. So I can't wait to bring season 4 to you guys next year, but we're not ending the year off just yet, because the playoff chapter, the best part, is going to be starting very, very soon. So stay tuned for all the playoff content. Turn on notifications if you haven't already. We're going to be rolling out so much content for the playoffs, guys. I'm going to have as many videos as I can make going into it, during it. I'm going to do everything I can. We're going to have lots of short coverage. We're going to be making on-the-street content in Winnipeg before that playoff weekend when they get back for game 3 and 4. We're going to be all over the street filming stuff. So if you're around the arena, you want to talk Jets hockey, and you guys see us, come up and talk. It's going to be great. But yeah, can't wait to see you guys all down there. Enjoy the playoffs. Thank you guys for watching this season, and I will see you guys in the playoffs very, very soon. Enjoy your week. Enjoy the content coming out. Peace, love, and positivity as always. Go Jets, go! And it's whiteout time, baby.